Welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. Today's episode is something that I wish I could have listened to when I was on my journey, and it's how to get off the income roller coaster and start hitting those consistent 10K months. I'm so excited, you guys, because today is my Friday. Tomorrow I am going to Mammoth to ski with there's like 30 of my friends going. And it just, moments like these, I'm like, I'm just so grateful for this business. Like, it's crazy thinking that only, 3 years ago, I used to have to ask my boss if I could take off work. And I had to, make my schedule around someone else. And now I just have the freedom to take my phone and I can still get paid while I'm on the slopes. It's like, what is this life? Like, I just want you guys to stop sometimes and just be like, oh my God, I'm so freaking grateful that I took the leap. And like, my past self would be absolutely bawling her eyes out right now if she could see me. So everything that you want really is on the opposite side of fear, and you can do this, and it's worth all the reward. Like, I promise you, I wouldn't take back one freaking second. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. So if you just know, right? You just absolutely know that you're ready for consistent 10K months, but you're currently strapped on the income roller coaster and you're hitting high cash months and then you're burning out directly after, and you're watching your income plummet and then go back up and plummet. Let me help you unstrap you from the roller coaster and get you, to a place where you just start hitting those consistent 10K months and you feel incredible about it. So, girl, I've been there. Like, let me just be completely honest. And that roller coaster left me nauseous with whiplash and so confused how I would ever build like a sustainable business, right? And my problem was that I did a whole lot that wasn't in alignment. And I see this time and time again when my clients come to me, is they just think that they need to be doing more. Like, I would have a month when I wasn't traveling and I would just use that time to go so hard on my business. I would get a quick cash injection and then my traveling would pick up. I would, for example, go to, ski for the weekend just like I am now. And I would have, another weekend in the month where I had to go somewhere else for a weekend. And since I was doing all this traveling, I wouldn't be able to handle it all. And before I knew it, I was starting back down with like a low cash month. And so what I realized is like I couldn't handle all the strategies I was doing when I wasn't traveling or when I was traveling. And so it wasn't sustainable, right? Because I couldn't just go hard for a month on my business and then not go hard and expect to have, the same consistent income. And so what I realized is I really need to pick strategies that worked for my business. It was like how I felt is it was like starting a new fab diet, right? And so, for example, you start this new diet, you're like, I'm going to eliminate carbs, right? And you stop going out to eat with your friends and you stay in for the month and you lose 10 pounds and you're like so excited, right? You're like, oh my gosh, it freaking worked. And then life picks up and you have 4 birthdays that month and you gain the weight back. And then shocker, you try another fab diet and the cycle continues, right? Because it's not sustainable. So you're always going to be, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. And that's why you need to pick a strategy in any part of your life that you're going to stick to. And it's so cliche, but once you get it, you get it. That's what happened. I always tell you guys with me and intuitive eating, I tried every freaking diet in the book and then I found intuitive eating, thank God. And I started eating, what I wanted. I just was mindful of how much and I just started losing weight. It was freaking crazy. I lost the weight and I kept it off. Anyone who wants to read that book, there's a book, Intuitive Eating. I always say that. But it really did change my life. And so I adopted what I learned in that book about how I, took care of my health into my business. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I decided to become intuitive in my business, right? And I needed to find strategies that worked for me, whether I was traveling or I wasn't. And so when you put your blinders on and you stop looking at what's working for everyone else and you ask yourself, what do I want to be doing? Not only do you stay consistent, but your income will too. And so here's just some of the things that I changed that drastically improved my business. And I think the coolest part is most of the time people think like, let me just, that girl's DMing 50 people a day and she's killing it in her business. And another person on the internet, they have this big fancy website, and someone else, they hired a whole sales team and they're crushing it. And you're looking at all these different people instead of asking yourself, but how do you want to run your goddamn business? And when you're looking for everyone else and you're trying everyone's strategies, one, you're doing the fat diet where you're trying their strategy and then it's, too hard. You can't stay consistent with it. You don't like it, right? You don't want to do it. And so, yeah, maybe you could do it for the month. But after that, when life gets in the way, you totally drop that strategy. And that's why your income drops. So the key isn't to be able to hold their strategy. The key is to, find out what works for you. So for me, it wasn't adding more onto my plate. And this is what I find with my clients as well. It's not adding more onto their plate. It's actually getting rid of things. And so some of the things that I got rid of, which you guys know, is I got rid of sales pages, sales calls, and fancy websites, right? I found a bottleneck in my business that I didn't want to create a masterclass or, courses or anything like that because I didn't want to sit down and create sales pages. And when I did force myself to create sales pages, the conversion rate was like 0, like honestly. And so I was like, this isn't working for my business. And once I took the sales pages out, I wanted to create more offers and make more money. And then the next thing I took out was sales calls. Everyone said like, you need to do sales calls. And I actually tried them out again this year for everyone, so you guys don't have to. And I was getting on these calls and they were taking up 45 minutes of my time. And what's so interesting is like, what I find is now people DM me, they ask for the link. Maybe we talk for 5 minutes, if that. Sometimes they just ask for the link and then they pay. Sometimes they have like a couple of questions and then they pay. But I was wasting 45 minutes. And one, what I was noticing is sometimes people wouldn't come to the call, or they would actually have more objections because they were on this call with me and they felt like they had to fill the time. And they had to think about it more because they couldn't just like decide right there on the spot to whip out their credit card. Obviously, other people teach that like you need to make them whip out their credit card, but that's just not me, right? And I didn't like the convincing energy of like, we're on this call and I'm convincing you to sign up right away. I like being in the DMs and like thinking about what I'm going to say. And like, if they, want to sign up right then, they can, but if not, they can wait later. Like it's really up to them, right? It's up to my own client's journey. So once I got rid of sales calls, I freed up so much time in my day. And I was making the sales faster because, like I said, they had less objections. They didn't feel like they needed to ask me so many questions. They just were like, yep, I'm in there. And that's because of incredible content as well. But the next, I didn't spend money on a fancy website. I see so many people spending $3,000 on a fancy website, even though like they can't even sell, the products that they do have, but they think that what's going to sell their products is a fancy website. What's going to sell your products is actually incredible content and messaging. And so I just didn't create a fancy website, right? And I didn't waste all that time. The next thing, this was huge for me. I went from 5 courses down to 1 evergreen offer. This also really helped with consistent income, but I watched everyone in the industry create multiple courses, and they were creating multiple courses and they came up with new messaging and new branding and new sales pages, and they had to constantly launch. And I did this. I did this for 5 months. I came out with, a selling course, an Instagram course, and a course on courses and a course on money manifestation. And I was exhausted. Like I had to come up with so much branding. I I actually hired a VA at that time because I was like, this is so much. I had to come up with the launch plan, launch plans. Is that what it's called? You guys know I don't even edit this because I love to keep it in. The launch plans, I had to come up with new content. Like I had to constantly be speaking to someone else. Like it was so much work, you guys. And I was so freaking burnt out. And the worst part is that I would make these courses and I would do them live. So I was also having to put so much time into these courses. And then once the course was done, I never wanted to resell them again because it was so much work. But I also just felt like I didn't put my all into it. And the courses were probably incredible, but I just didn't feel good about them. And so I really looked at everyone else. I was like, this is what you need to do to have a thriving business. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this for a year, let alone 10 years. I can't keep coming up with new ideas for courses. And the other thing is I was looking around at all these coaches and like they were coming up with new courses, but so many of the courses were just regurgitated like fluff. Like they were just coming up with new courses to make more money instead of because they actually wanted to teach something new. So what I did is I got rid of all the courses and I made one signature evergreen offer, DBA, shout out DBA, and it has everything that I taught in those courses into one course. So one, my client could get better results. Two, I only had to sell one thing that already had a checkout link, right? That had the same messaging. I had to talk about the same thing every day. I'm not constantly in a launch for it. I've only launched, the last launch for DBA was in August, and I'm still constantly getting people into DBA every single month without launching, right? Without saying like there's one spot left or without saying that the price is going up. Like it's actually incredible how people have been jumping in, and that really helped with my consistent income because instead of, selling a $500 course, I was selling something that was, higher priced, which got my clients better results because they had more skin in the game, but that they didn't have to buy all these different courses. They just were jumping into this one. And so I absolutely just love having one course. And the best part is I, have been able to be more hands-on with my clients. They actually get 6 months of coaching in that course because I'm not constantly coming out with new stuff and burning myself out. I just have this one thing, one branding. It's incredible. And it's just an amazing community. So I highly, highly recommend if you're someone who's like, I don't want to do all that. And the best part is now because I have that one big course, signature course, I can make little tiny courses. So right now I'm running a course called Become a Soulmate Client Magnet. And that's just, a 3-part course and it's only $297. And what happens is if they, are in Become a Soulmate Magnet, they get that $297 as a coupon off DBA. So everyone's happy, right? Because you can come in and just do my, smaller course, get everything that you need. And then if you want to upgrade, you can use that money off and go into DBA. And so not only am I making more consistent income, but my clients are happier. And so next, I created a product suite, just like I said, that allowed for stackable reoccurring income. So right now, my product suite looks like I have my free stuff, I have my one-off masterclasses, then I have Become a Soulmate Magnet. That's like a mini course. And then I have my signature course, DBA. I have my mastermind for the woman who wants those 10K months, and I have my private coaching. So for me, that's a really slimmed down product suite, but it also really helps someone go in from, a $22 offer all the way up to my highest package is like a $12,000 offer. So there's really room for people to grow. And then the last thing I did is I switched from, actually I have 2 more. I switched from all reels, 70% reels, or I switched from all reels, to 70% carousel posts and 30% reels. So why this really helped is at one point I was doing just reels and I just didn't like it. I didn't like having to take new content. I didn't like to always have to, videotape myself. Like I was having to videotape myself multiple times a week. And what I actually learned is, one, I liked making carousel posts more. I can make them from anywhere. My sales went up because, it's easier to convert when people are reading something instead of just like scrolling past. And people actually save carousels and they use them. And then the other thing is that it was incredible because I was just saving so much more time. And so now I still have my 30% reels, but it's so much easier. And so that was something I saw everyone say, you have to do reels, you have to do reels, you have to do reels. And once I said, what do I want to do? I actually just want to create carousel posts. My sales went up, my engagement went up, and my overall happiness really went up. So now I can go skiing and I can still create those carousel posts, or I can already have those carousel posts done and just post them, and it's just so much easier. Lastly, and what's really cool is what I base this podcast episode off of, what I'm reading off of, is actually a carousel post that I made. And so I'm using what I wrote in the carousel post and just reading it off and then explaining more on it. So I'm killing so many birds with one stone. And the last thing that I did, and I actually heard this from my coach and I completely agree with it, is one, I found a coach that ran her business the way that I want to run it. So, powerful freaking content, selling in your stories, and then just sending links in the DMs and then just coaching your clients. Like that's it. That's all you need. And before I had coaches who had, different strategies and that worked for them. They liked, cold DMing and they wanted a sales team and they wanted, to make everything perfect and really organized. I'm just not that type of person. I'm raging ADHD. I like simple. I love running my business, but I just need it all in a way that like a fifth grader could do it. I can't spell for the life of me. Like I really wanted to run a business on my own terms. And the most exciting thing is like there is a coach out there for everyone. So one, find a coach who, you want to run your business like and you like their personality and their lifestyle. And then the other thing is commit to that coach. And so what really helped my income is I committed last year to, I was basically getting coached the whole year. Like I was in a 6-month mastermind, then I was in 3 months of uh, private coaching, and then 3 months of private coaching with my new coach. And now I'm in a 6-month mastermind again. And what I really learned, and this isn't even like, you got to invest in yourself so that you guys sign up with me. Like when you commit yourself to longer containers, and this is why I made my mastermind 6 months. When you commit yourself to 6 months, you are telling yourself, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I am going to get 1% better every day because I am surrounding myself, especially in a mastermind, with other women going for the same goal, who are motivating me, who are showing me I can do more, who are showing me I'm meant for more, who are showing me my crazy dreams aren't freaking crazy because they are doing the same thing and accomplishing them. Like, when you surround yourself with these people, and you make that commitment to yourself and you go all in, that's how you keep hitting your next level and you stay there. I've had so many clients in the past who have signed up for coaching with me. We've got them to incredible places in their business. And then they're like, all right, I'm going to take a little break. And what happens? Their income plunges, right? And they come back to me and they say, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have taken a break. Like there is just something about being in the energy of a container with a coach, right? Because someone's helping you. Their eyes and ears are on your business. They are actually like in your business with you and they're making sure that you get to their next level. And so to have a cheerleader, but to also have someone who like is your partner in business on the days that you don't feel motivated. That's what I love about a mastermind, that like when you don't feel motivated, there is 5 other girls who are motivated for you, right? There are a bunch of other girls who are doing something that you didn't even, you could do simpler, right? Or there's someone who's helping you with your messaging and your content. It's incredible. And also what I love about it is I'm lazy. So I don't like waking up and asking my coach questions every day or thinking of coaches. So the best part is someone else is asking a question that you needed the answer to. But there's nothing like meeting with people, twice a month and every single day, but like twice a month on a call to make sure that you keep hitting your goals. So to end this, right, most of the time, the key isn't piling on more strategies. It's doing less strategies, but more consistently, because this is how you create that sustainable business for years to come. Alex Hormozy says it best: fancy fails, simple scales. A lot of the time people go from high cash months to low cash months because they either aren't using aligned strategies or they stop doing the basic things. I've seen this so many times. Again, my clients are like, I hit a 10K month and then, I kind of slip back down. What's going on? It's because they think that once they hit that 10K month, they need to do more in order to hit it again or get to the next level, right? What actually happens is you need to do the basic things that you were doing to hit that 10K month in the first place, right? So you don't need a new strategy. You need to pick the one that works best for your lifestyle so you can make sales, whether you're on your couch watching Love Island or you're at après ski on a mountain. Like, I'm telling you guys, this podcast will change your view of business. If you liked it, as always, message me on Instagram if you'd like to snag a part in my mastermind. It's called Your Turn Mastermind because I don't want you to keep looking at everyone else on the internet and saying, why don't I have that? It's time for you to go out and get that. This is for the girl who is like, business is good, but I'm ready to absolutely explode. I'm ready for my next level. I'm ready to have a home base. I need to be surrounded by other women going for the same goals. I want that like manifesting bestie, like exciting vibe, but something to plug in every day to keep me accountable and keep striving to be my best self. So if you're going for 10K months, 6 figures, or you just want that community of women who are going to keep, motivating you, then message me my turn and I'll send you the application. So I love you guys so much. And of course, if you want to be in DBA or become a soulmate magnet, private coaching, any of those things, just message me and we'll see what's the best fit. No strings attached in my DMs. It's a very easy place to be. If you come in, you shop around, you don't want anything, you leave. No freaking strings attached. It's an open door policy. So I love you guys so much. Have the best freaking week and weekend. And if you enjoyed this podcast, like I said, message me on Instagram. I love hearing from you guys and please rate it. It makes my freaking day.